Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. It seems that society has mixed feelings about beauty. Should we revere it for how it inspires us, or should we damn it for the destruction it has caused? Can we really condemn someone for using beauty carelessly or for maligned agendas? Can beauty be replaced by functionality? Would that even be good for us? Is beauty important or necessary to our lives? Do we even really understand what beauty is? I don't know about you, but I'm here to find out. When looking at something beautiful or a work of art, there's a certain level of detachment, of pure speculation, a kind of romantic perspective that the spectator must have. And beauty often completely ignores its own context in order to maintain its aesthetic integrity. And yet we can be completely aware of a subject's negative context, and that can make things even more appealing. Either way, either direction, there is still some kind of contextual negligence. You either ignore the context entirely, or you take it at face value, you transform it, and turn it into something it's not. Many people like to call this romanticism. And that word has such currency in today's society that I really don't even like to use it. Because I'm just going to quickly say this here. I will defend romanticism until the day I die. I will defend its positive qualities. I think that romanticizing things is actually an excellent coping mechanism. It helps us deal with trauma. If we did not see good things in the bad or even create complete illusions, we would suffer far more. However, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that beauty is always moral or that it inspires moral behavior. That's just naive. But I feel like we've definitely been putting the blame on people a little bit too much for romanticizing things. It's not to say that we should shift the blame onto this inanimate thing called beauty, but beauty doesn't have to regulate itself due to our moral compass. Beauty, like nature, just is. And you can swear it off by all means for its dishonesty, or accept it for being a very powerful, awe-inspiring, destructive, and also integral part of our world. What I'm pleading people in the audience, those who are watching, to understand is, and I'm especially talking to people who have had absolutely no initiation into art history or don't really have any background in it at all. I plead you to acknowledge that beauty does not have to explain itself to you. Beauty is often, too often, explained. And sure, it can be a bit more alluring with some context, but beauty is self-evident. It doesn't need that context. Despite our postulations, our convictions, our outrage, despite the passing of time, changes in zeitgeist, paradigms, trends, fads, beauty will be worshipped for fucking ever. And there's a reason for that. Beauty is an indissoluble component of all life. And I'll explain to you why that is. Over the course of thousands of years, the artist has definitely attempted, certainly failed, and sometimes succeeded through incomprehensible amounts of physical effort in creating beautiful things. And when I say beautiful, I mean something very specific. I mean that every artist prays that their mature creation exudes even a small amount of perfect harmony, an effortlessness, something very pure. What they're trying to achieve is divinity. To create something that makes you stop and forget everything around you. Beauty makes you forget about the real world. It transports us. And beauty also outlives all of us because it comes from a world that is outside of ours, outside our mortality. I think beauty is a visitor here on earth, an alien walking among us. And the issue with beauty not being from our humble human dimension is that it either dies here, or those who are exposed to it too much on earth die from it, die from sheer exposure. And now this is where things are going to get even more convoluted. So let's keep at it, shall we? Maybe beauty is a cancerous agent in the human world. Maybe, like any vice or poison, it requires controlled exposure. It's hard to talk about beauty as this insidious thing when it can be so equally inspiring. I mean, think of all the good beauty has done for the world. Think of the pacifying effect that a work of art or a landscape can have on a troubled mind. How beauty can mend the past and make those awful memories and periods of your life easier to live with. How beauty can instill purpose in someone. I mean, I know it has for me. Beauty is a divine agent. Beauty is heaven on earth, but not in the way that sounds. The earth is imperfect and not always the most suitable environment for beauty. Remember here that even nature, the golden child of beauty in the natural world, is filled with chaos and horrors and catastrophes constantly. We just choose not to think about those things. What we need to accept about beauty is maybe its function is to be destructive. Now stay with me here. In nature, do we curse bacteria, which breaks down the carcass? The cordyceps fungus that annihilates any species too numerous? Do we really have anything to say to our beloved nature, to the dissolving agents in nature? When a tsunami swallows an entire village, when a tree keels over due to the termites that are eating the insides? No, because we understand those things are part of a natural cycle. Things live, they age or get sick and die. Even cancer, we've been trying to figure out cancer for how long? And I wonder sometimes why we don't just accept cancer as the cordyceps for the human species. The human species, so protective of its sick and its disordered, has maybe just become too numerous. And cancer is this seemingly incurable disease that developed as a means of destroying us. And this is coming from somebody who has lost someone to cancer in my own family, so don't come at me, okay? I'm just trying to accept things as they could be. I try to see them in, let's say, a neutral or positive light. Beauty can be understood in this way in its relation to death and decay. Beauty is quite possibly, by design, a destructive force, but it's just not this natural earthbound one that we're used to, like force majeure, like tornadoes, tsunamis, earthquakes. It's something that we don't really understand very well. Our issue here too is that we are emotional and we're maimed and offended by beauty's effects. Especially since beauty is conceived in the mind, it becomes a moral problem. It's an internal problem as well as an external force. Now, I want to make a distinction here again about beauty being divine but not natural, even though beauty can be in natural things. The word sublime, I love this word. It's most often attributed to nature. And the concept of sublimity was not so ironically the fixation of the Romantic painters in the 19th century when they were painting these massive landscapes. The sublime you see in nature inspires not just awe, they said, but transcendence. Which every time I hear this word, I am forced to remember that even nature draws its allure from something exterior to itself. The majesty of nature is emanating not from within, but from above, from something higher. The effects of beauty, from what we can determine from our cute 5 little senses, paradoxically still perpetuates within the natural world and exists according to the laws of our universe. And therein lies our problem. You have a divine agent acting within the confines of a natural world. Divinity, or any kind of divine force or entity, is then reduced to being destructive, especially when left unchecked. As human beings, we maybe just can't handle beauty and its excesses, which is why we often have to reduce our exposure to it. Those who are extremely sensitive, such as myself, I need to be careful. I'll get myself into all kinds of trouble. Do you ever remember reading mythology or lore somewhere a long time ago where they talk about how human beings literally disintegrate in the presence of gods and divine entities? That's not just some story, that's very real. I mean, even just in nature, if you were caught in, let's say, an avalanche, I mean, you probably wouldn't survive. Your meager human body would barely make it out. That's not even a fraction of beauty's full form. And I'll tell you, the perfect place for beauty to reach a later stage of development is in the mind. That is when beauty is at its most dangerous, because there are no confines in the mind. And oh, how beauty can infect the mind being beauty's favorite host. The mind where all species of figments and fantasies breed, and the host, so delirious from their disease, attempting to extricate them, to manifest them, dying from effort. The hope that something so gorgeous, an idea inhabiting the mind, could possibly be created physically by humans with earthly elements. Again, time and time again, we are faced with the constraint. Some ideas cannot be made real. Some beauty must stay above in the ether in its proper home. Art that we can create, however, beauty that is able to make that arduous journey into the real world, is something we should be so heavily grateful for. What does make it through is the residual imprint of the divine. And it's a miracle if we can come out alive from the process. If there are gods up there living in a paradise, then human beings are their mouthpieces. We are their translators. The fact that we have the intelligence, the strength, the perseverance to manifest our beautiful ideas is the greatest blessing we could ever ask for, in my opinion. Everyone is so caught up in preserving our species, making sure we are healthy in body, mind, and soul. We treat beauty like a disease that we can eradicate with a healthy helping of self-love and realism. But I tell you, beauty will stay. It should stay. We need it. I'm happy it's here no matter how destructive it is. We just need to be more careful with it, more cautious. There's also no inoculation for a disease we enjoy enduring. We should respect and fear beauty, accept its function, its duty, what it's here to do, what it can do. And if beauty does overcome us, decides to take our feeble human bodies and flay them and burn them to ash, then let us die martyrs to it. That's all I've got to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe as usual. I'm going to be filming like this again. I kind of missed it. Sorry also for being so all over the place. Things are changing. Things always do, but at least at the end of the day, I'm trying to hold on to you guys and to this project or this channel, just that I've been working on, for the past couple of years, and just not give up on it. And this is my attempt to kick my own ass, really. Thank you guys for being patient with me, as usual. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.